Today I'm outside the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club here, just south of it, standing on land that I should be actually standing in water. Today is March 29th, 2021, and we just had some recent sewage overflows. I want to come by here and capture it and show you guys what it looks like, and I'm going to do a couple different spots along the lake as well too. But a lot of this here is also built up from stuff that happened last year that's washing ashore now, and everything else. But take a look at this. I came here and I'm going to show you a couple different things that just stood out in my mind. Tampon applicator. There's another one right there. Another more plastic. You got all this other stuff over here. Oh, take a look at this guy right here. Who knows how he died, but you know. But look at this water. I mean, there's stuff all along. A lot of shotgun shells. A lot of shotgun shells always wash up from the hunters and stuff like that that come in here. But the tampon applicator is a scary thing to see and everything else. But I mean, it's all mixed in here. There's another one. But I wanted you to see what this looks like up close. Okay, now I'm at Veterans Memorial Park. Today is March 29th, 2021. This is what the beach looks like right now. Okay, right now I am at what I always call the epicenter of everything. The spillway is right over there. Today's date, March 29th, 2021. So the spillway is right over there. And I'm gonna take you to another spot after this too, but this is always the epicenter because the water usually comes out of the spillway, comes out there, comes out in this bay, and then as you can see the waves today, the wind's kind of blowing it back in this direction, and it always comes up into here. So what happened last year? Oakland County dumped 2.3 billion gallons of combined sewage overflow. So it came right out of the drain right there. Known as 12 towns, which is known as...
That's 12 towns right over there.
That's 12 towns right over there.
Bridge that goes over the Utica Road by Hayes.
Okay, here's the bridge. You see that over there.
And this is where the Red Run ties into the Clinton River.
Okay, so this is where the Red Run ties into the Clinton River.
And look, you can even see oil slicks down there.
You can. Oh my God, you can see it. You can see it showing up in the camera, I think.
Yes.
A difference in coloration.
There it is right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the camera picked it up. Again, it's
More over there, see it?
it's too almost overcast where it might not show up on the camera. I hope it does, but you can see it with the naked eye. You can see it plain as day. The oil slicks coming out of here. All of this is going into our water.
And that becomes our drinking water.
So why would we not want to further protect this and eliminate this?
We want to protect this. We want to protect the fish. We want to protect our drinking water. The main thing is this becomes our drinking water.
Quicker speed, pushing all the straight down, flowing right. all that came into here and fed all this algae, fed all the plant growth. What happens is that dies over the winter time, comes in here and washes in here, and it traps the sewage overflows that we have, and along with everything else that's inside of it I'm going to talk about too. But what I really wanted to try to show you guys, and I'll try to get a Google overhead shot of this too, but just how massive this is. This is literally about 4 or 5 football fields long. I don't know if you can see how far down that goes, way over there. Like that's where this guy's boat is. Where he can't get that boat in and out of there. That's where it used to be. But see it way down there? The shoreline is actually way over there. That's the shoreline. That's where the water should be bouncing over there. And look at this. From there all the way down, all the way down, and all the way down to there. Guys, we should not be living like this. Oakland County needs to pony up and pay and have this dredged every single year, if not every single month, to clear this waterway. I mean, just look at the stuff that this traps and everything else. I mean, in the summertime, it's cold right now, so it doesn't matter, but in the summertime, you're going to have this stench come out of this so bad. You can see. So see where the weed growth is over there? That's stuff that's been here before. This stuff right here, this is all new that came in this past year. So what's going to happen now is all this right here, this is going to have the weed growth explosion here in about another month or so. It's going to secure, the roots are going to secure all this muck as new land. And then what's going to happen? Another year goes by, maybe another couple billion gallons of sewage from Oakland County comes in, helps fuel the algae, helps fuel the plant growth, helps everything. And now we're going to have a whole nother shelf life come out to here. And then the next year, it's going to be out to here. And then the next year, it's going to be out to there. It's just going to keep on going and going and going. So all of a sudden, there's not going to be a bay over here. I mean, we have to maintain this. We have to keep up with it. And we have to penalize and pursue the people that are causing this damage, of which is Oakland County in this case. Is 100% correlated and related to the dumping of Oakland County into the spillway, which into the Red Run Drain, which runs all the way out to the Clinton River. Clinton River comes out either over there, there's Metro Beach over there. You have to come out of there, or the spillway that's right over there and it'll come out and flow over here. So, I mean, this is just, we had a couple people call us up and say you should really see how bad it is, because I've been here a couple times. But this is just growing and growing, and you can smell it already. I know video doesn't give out smell, but this is going and going and going. What happens? Wildlife start feeding off them. Look at them, we're over there. And it's feeding off them. What's going to happen to these guys later on? I don't know. But this is not, I would say this is 95% algae and the rest is sewage, but this is all combined in here. And I'm going to go over what's really in the sewage overflow, because what you guys think is, everybody thinks the sewage overflow is poop, but there's way much more than that. I mean, just...
Environmental Quality is the agency that permits the discharges. It's a second best.
It provides for limited treatment.
Dr. Linda Schweitzer of Oakland University is an ecotoxicologist and has studied Lake St. Clair for 15 years.
Some of the solids are removed and then it's disinfected. And so if you were to test that water when it leaves, it's probably fine. It's not pathogenic. But what they're forgetting about is these bacteria that live in those sediments.
Remember, she says decades of legacy pollution lives on the bottom of Lake St. Clair, and it's reactivated by the millions, even billions of gallons discharged.
And all they need is a little bit of nutrients. So every time we have these sewage overflows, it fuels the bacteria that are already there.
And in extremely heavy rain, every few years, officials concede the facilities discharge raw sewage, not treated.
These things, I mean, they've happened in the past. We've had things where a permit has been violated. I mean, that's just kind of things happens from time to time.
Look at where his boat used to be years ago. That's a boat hoist. Nope, can't get that in there. Moved his boat, left out to there. He can't get a boat in and out of there anymore. I mean, this is just fun from the bottom up. And on top of it, Lake St. Clair last year was its highest point ever. Look at how far out they had to build this dock. They went an extra 200 feet out just so they could be able to hopefully get a boat in and out of here. But in a couple years, this is going to be useless. I mean, we have to do better, guys. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And people can't see this because this is a lot of residential area. And, you know, luckily for me, like a couple people heard of our costs and said, hey, man, you got to come take a look at this, come take a look at this. And they always text me and try to keep me informed, but it's just something that when you're here in person, seeing this real life in person, it just blows you away, and you feel so incredibly sorry for all these people. And it has nothing to do with what, they didn't do anything wrong. They're just here, and this is what's the outcome of it. This is our water. This is our fresh drinking source. This is everything that we need to live on. And we purposely pollute it every year, and we don't have to.
Run drain right at the outfall of the George W. Kuhn retention basin, which for decades has been discharging combined sewer overflows into Macomb County. And in Macomb County, we are asking that they stop doing this. And I've been raising this issue quite a bit. I've been told that I am putting politics over water quality, and that if I can show any scientific evidence that what has happened here is bad, and that what they're discharging is bad, that I should bring it to them, bring it to their attention. So I'm bringing this to their attention, because what is this? This is called a wipe, okay? These are personal wipes that people use, and then they flush them down their toilets. Over these trees here. And the reason they're all over these trees are because when they discharge, the water level, you can see right now it's very low, but the water level in a heavy discharge rises way up to the top of the banks. So they only had one discharge so far this year. 750 million gallons. 750 million gallons in one discharge so far this year into the Red Run Drain. And this stuff has been hanging from these trees for almost 2 months now. And it's only been one time so far this year. It's been going on for decades. You don't get sewer wipes falling from the sky. I'm just going to say, I'm not a scientist, but even I could tell you that. All right? This stuff came from the sewers.
The biggest polluter is Oakland County?
Oakland County, they sent so far this year 750 million gallons of sewage. That's the biggest polluter.
And I don't think we're contributing any kind of significant pollution to Lake St. Clair from this.
We're upset with that. You know, we have a base.
What's in a sewage overflow? Most everybody out there thinks sewage, you think of poop, right? I mean, naturally, that's what, you know, you think of sewage, you think of poop. And that's the visual that you usually get the thing. But think of the stuff that you can't physically see. By that, I mean, here's a quick education. How many people in their house in Oakland County and Macomb County use Drano or some kind of drain cleaner? Read what's on that label. Go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's. How many bottles are on their shelves of drain cleaners? And what does everyone say? Danger, poison, do not drink. But yet all these households are just pouring Drano after Drano after Drano. Obviously they're buying a lot of it, otherwise these stores wouldn't be stocked with it. And when we have these sewage overflows by the billion gallons that we do every single year, it winds up coming into our fresh water source. So I know it's always been told that the solution to pollution is dilution, but at a certain point in time, it's going to change. And when you have 2.3 billion gallons from Oakland County alone last year, altogether we dumped over 3 billion gallons between Macomb and Oakland last year alone into Lake St. Clair. And we've already dumped this year, just last week, from the storm we had last week. So not only do you have to think about the chemicals, I want to talk about stuff that people don't even think about or realize is the drugs. And not the drugs like you think. I'm talking about pharmaceutical drugs. How many people in this society, in an age society are we in, that are taking a pharmaceutical drug prescribed by their doctor? Some people, most of the people over age 50 are taking 2, 3, 4 of them. And now we got to think about how many kids these days, how many young kids are using medicine prescribed for ADD or ADHD. It is enormous with how many kids are out there. Now you combine with the kids taking their medicine along with the adults taking their medicine, it just becomes one big giant melting pot.
Our bodies, when we take these drugs, it doesn't just, we don't just take the drugs and our body obliterates it. Our body uses it, absorbs it, and then what happens? How do we get rid of it? We urinate it out through our urine when we go to the bathroom, when we go pee. So now imagine how many people are in Oakland, Macomb County that are on pharmaceuticals. They're going to the bathroom, obviously. And when we go to the bathroom, we're actually putting the pharmaceutical, the drug, back into the water source, into the sewage. And when we flush it down, and then we have these massive overflows by billions of gallons every year, it's not just sewage that's going into here, it's all the drugs. It's one big melting pot of everybody's combined drugs, everything you have in there, coming into our freshwater source. Our fisheries affected, our wildlife's affected, and most importantly, our drinking water is affected. In Oakland County, what do you need to know? Where's your drinking water come from? It comes from right here. So you guys want this fixed too, okay? You have to have this fixed. This is crazy. Now let's talk about not even the pharmaceutical drugs. Let's talk about something that's even more dangerous. Chemotherapy radiation. Now, how many people in Macomb and Oakland County are also currently on chemotherapy radiation? Again, our bodies, when we go through this chemo radiation, absorbs it, takes it, and how do we get rid of it out of our body? Through our urine, and when we go to the bathroom. So all this radiation then is expelled out of our bodies into our toilet bowls. We flush it down. We don't think anything more of it, but that's all coming down into the same system where we have these sewage overflows. Okay, and when we have sewage overflows, now don't think of poop. Think of the chemicals. Think of the drugs. Think of chemotherapy radiation. Start thinking about other things, right? Diseases. And let's just talk about it now. The coronavirus, right? I mean, it's been proven Macomb County actually has a grant in place. They can track coronavirus spikes in our sewage overflows by the testing they're doing in our sewage that shows a spike increase of coronavirus that's going to happen before it happens. So again, is that when we have sewage overflows and if we're able to track it in their sewage, wouldn't you think that the virus would be able to, come into the lake here from sewage overflows? I mean, it's just stuff to think about. It's what are we doing to ourselves? And the answer to fix all of this, the prime example for everybody to understand, this is fixable. And follow exactly what the city of Port Huron did. Port Huron, years ago, completely separated their sewage from storm. They updated their infrastructure to last them the next 100 years. And they've stopped their dumping of sewage overflows. But yet here in Oakland County, they continue to build and build and build upon a system that can only handle so much. That was built in the 1970s with the population they had then. And there's a lot of farmland in Oakland County. So what happens now, all this building's happening, we're basically force feeding all the rain, all the people's water usage into the same drains that were designed back in the day, the 1960s and 70s and even 80s. What used to take a major rainstorm in order to let this all flow into the lake, where we had to dump sewage overflow back in the day, now because of our population growth and our continue to grow of our communities and how we paved everything now, the rainwater just doesn't fall on natural land and land naturally absorbed into earth. We force feed it into these pipes. And you can never build retention ponds or basins big enough. You cannot. You'll never be able to build them big enough. So there's a solution out there, is to follow exactly what Port Huron did. Now, everybody said back in the day, Port Huron, oh, you don't have the money. How are we going to do this? They did it, okay? They stepped up and they did it. Now they have infrastructure that's going to last them the next 150 years, and they're not polluting. But yet, over here, we just continue to give them a pass and say, hey, it's okay. We're going to get by another year because we can't afford to do this right now. We can't afford to do that. You can't afford to wait. Understand? You cannot afford to wait. This is our drinking water that you guys have to understand. This is your own drinking water. But we have the tools, we have the resources, we have the technology. Let's put people to work. Let's update our infrastructure to last us the next 100 years, not put us 100 years back. And if everybody says we don't have the money, we don't have the money, well, how did the government literally just give out $1.9 trillion, but yet we have no money for a stimulus package for the people, but we have no money to update our infrastructure, to put people to work, update our infrastructure, and to stop polluting? This is our drinking water. This should be the number one thing on everybody's platform on how to fix this. Because without clean water, nothing else matters. This is fixable. We don't need to live like this.